There's a few factors there, and I think when you're a Denver Broncos owner, and you sit there and you watch Patrick Mahomes and you watch the Chiefs go to another Super Bowl, You're sitting there saying, why are we not going out and getting the best? And really, you sit there and you watch that AFC Championship game and say, why would we mess around? I think DeMeco Ryans going to be a great coach. He's obviously going to the Houston Texans, but he's an unknown. You don't know if he can be a good head coach. You go out, you get the hottest guy on the market. You have to give up draft picks. You don't have to give up draft picks for DeMeco Ryans. But I think in that ownership group, they sat there and they watched Mahomes and said, we paid Russell a lot of money. He's going to be here. Let's go out and get a guy who helped Drew Brees, be a first ballot Hall of Famer. And if Russell Wilson can't work out under those circumstances, then we got to find a new quarterback. And I think that is their thinking is they have to go out and get the best because they're in a division where they're going to be in a dogfight every single week.
Now, Scott, along those lines, when you look at Russell Wilson, do you still have hope in him? Because I think he didn't forget how to play, and you could be pressing. Yeah. You got this unbelievable contract, and you got to make it work. But it's not like the cupboard's bare for Denver. I think defensively that when you look at where they can be and what they can accomplish, Sean's aware of that, even though it is the AFC West and how competitive that's going to be. Would you be shocked if all of a sudden that Denver's not in contention? But okay, he's got different clauses probably. Do I go to the playoffs? Do I win my division? What do I do division round? Can I get to AFC Championship? Can I get to the Super Bowl? I don't know what his contract is and what they paid him, if they paid him $20 million. Because you remember the rumor was out there, I don't know what owner said, but they said, okay, Sean, we'll give you $20 million if you win a Super Bowl. But I think he'll have incentives that he'll definitely be in that number around there.
Scott, the other thing is, if I'm Sean, wouldn't I make that first phone call to Steve Wilks and say, hey, listen, you come run my defense here. If I'm Wilks, I take a good look at that defense, which has been a top 5 defense over the last couple of years, and Vic did a great job with it when he was there. Man, I start to think about that because one thing with Sean, he always gave autonomy to that defensive coordinator. That guy ran the show.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's the one thing that you start thinking about is what assistant coaches with the Saints could end up being in Denver. Players, there's going to be a lot of players that he's going to inquire with Mickey about bringing to Denver, and there could be more draft compensation on the way. And I think you're right. When you look out there, you have to go out and get a premier defensive coordinator, especially in that division. We just talked about Mahomes. You're going to play against the Chargers, have a franchise quarterback. The Raiders, they have Devontae Adams. So you're going to play against really good people every single week. You better have a defensive coordinator who can take advantage of the talent that you have. Because Denver does have good talent. They really do. They have good talent on the defense. They have good receivers. And it's like we talked about, getting a good coaching staff put in place that works well with the type of scheme you're going to run is probably going to be the same thing. But, there's other variables involved too. Like, you're in Denver now. You're going to be playing outdoors on grass. You're not in the dome. Like, how much of your offense can you continually do the same that you did with Drew inside a dome? So there's going to be other variables as far as knowing what do you want to do defensively because of the type of personnel you have. And so I agree with you, though. That's a long answer to give you to say that I think Steve Wilks, they absolutely should inquire about him.